right, Amy. Amy, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Australia, Canberra, Australia. Well, I was born in Canberra, Australia. Um, and then my parents moved to Brisbane, which is in kind of like the east northern bit of Australia. Very sunny. Um, yeah, and grew up in the suburbs there.
How would you describe your childhood?
Pretty normal. We were kind of, I guess, middle upper class. I went to a private school. Um, I my upbringing was pretty normal. I think my first experience with cross-dressing, um, I think this is before it became a sexual thing, was when I was really young and I went to primary school, and I remember they had all these dresses, and it was like they were like fairy costumes, and I remember like really wanting to wear it. Like it's not clothing that you can like buy at the store, and I was just like, I really want to wear that. And I remember trying to convince all these kids to like wear these dresses with me, and I eventually convinced them, and we put on these dresses and we like ran around the playground, and I was like, oh, this is like so much fun.
You were how old?
Maybe like 7 or 8. And yeah, we took him off, and then I was like, oh, that was fun. That was a fun thing to do. And then I tried to do the same thing like a week later, and no one would do it with me. And so I think that was like the first experience where I was like, oh, okay, not everyone feels the same way I do. And I think that's like started on this path of being like, okay, it's a little bit weird. You know, it's a little bit something that like people don't really want to like do with me, you know, so.
Do you think this was something you were born with, or do you think something?
Definitely, yeah, something I was born with. I think it's something I'll die with too. It's just like, and it sort of like comes in these like interesting cycles. I think when, like throughout my teen years and throughout my 20s, I would sort of go through these like binges of, you would like buy some clothing, you'd like wear it, you'd stash it somewhere really secretive where people can't find it. And then you would just like get kind of bored of it, and then you would just throw it away. I mean, this is my experience. I would just like throw it away. I would like purge it. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. And be like, I'm not going to do that again. And then like 6 months would go by, and then like you're like looking at pretty dresses online.
You
you're like,
coming back.
Yeah, it keeps coming back. You know, you can't, I just couldn't deny it. And it was about I think like not doing it at all, I'd last about 6 months before I'd be like, I really want to do this thing again.
Are you gay?
No, I
You're
mean,
attracted to females.
yeah, I'm attracted to the way females look, especially like extreme femininity. So like really cute, like e-girls, or this sort of like, yeah, which is kind of how I like to dress when I dress up. Yeah, I'm like attracted to that.
You've had girlfriends?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend at 18. I'm actually married.
You're married?
Yeah, I'm married. She's really lovely.
What does your wife feel about this?
Well, we've been married for almost 11 years, so a long time. Been together like 14 years. And I hid it from her for the first like 8 years of our relationship. And I had like a duffel bag in the garage that was like stashed through many layers, and I was like, hope she doesn't find out. Maybe she will, but what? I don't know. Like, so I hid it from her because I kind of like got trained to hide it, I guess. So and it's kind of, I think I just learned that it's like kind of something that I don't know if it's gonna last forever. You know, like maybe this is something that it's like a phase, or maybe I'll just grow out of it. You know, so it's like I don't want to go through this whole thing where I like reveal this hidden weird secret about myself, and then suddenly she has all this judgment, and then a year later I'm like, okay, it's gone now, you know. So I think I like slowly realized that it's not going away. Like it's something that is kind of like just a part of me. Like I was kind of born with it, and yeah, it's like always been there. I feel like it always will be there.
How did your wife find out about
it? I told her.
You told her?
Yeah, I told her after I sort of like started posting stuff online of just like because I was like, okay. So I think she kind of like, there was like moments where she would find stuff and we wouldn't really talk about it. Like, and I didn't know like what her, like, what her, what she would have thought at that time, like when she like found like some panties or something like that.
She had a clue.
Yeah, she
When you
said.
told
I think
her?
she said clues. Yeah. So when I told her, she was very lovely, you know. And then she like, she bought me some stuff. She like bought me some little like some shoes and some like a little dress. And
Did
it
that
was-
improve your relationship with her?
Yeah,
Make you closer?
definitely. Yeah, I think it really felt good to kind of like not hide stuff from people I really care about as well. You know, like I love her very much.
Having
I-
secrets is toxic.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's holding secrets is just like it's annoying to constantly like avoid talking about something, you know, to dodging and weaving conversation and things like that. So it's nice to just be like open and just freely talk, you know. So I think that was like really nice that I could. And after I told her, I told like everyone that I like was really close with and cared about, like my parents and my other close relationships. So.
Do you go out in public
No.
in this persona?
No. I did go out last year and that was fun for like a little bit. I think I might like in the future. I think it has just been like a slow process of like doing it behind closed doors to like slowly opening up and feeling like it's not this like weird thing that I should be like super ashamed of. Yeah.
Did your family find out at some point?
I told my parents, yeah. I told my sister like last week. So and yeah, I told them. They were like, I've had sort of like mixed reactions when I tell people what it is. I think people generally don't really know what to say, which is fair. I think when I told my parents, my dad didn't really say anything because it's kind of like, what do I say to this? And then my mom was like, oh, can I see? And then I showed her, and like the picture, like what I showed her, like the way I dress up was like kind of sexy. I try to be sexy, so it's a little bit weird to show your mom your sexy cross-dressing photos. But she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're pretty." So I think that reaction, that varied reaction, was kind of like a signal. Like when I started telling other people, it's like I think when I tell girls, they're like really supportive and they're kind of surprised, they're like, "Oh wow," and then when I tell guys. I get it. It's just kind of like a weird thing to.
Well, it depends on the person.
Yeah,
There's
totally.
There's a community for all of this very open-minded sexual behavior. You know,
Totally, yeah.
the fetish community would think you're just perfectly normal.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think I've like slowly found those people as well. You know, I'm like, so. But yeah, for like vanilla people, like people that don't, and have sort of like more of a rigid mindset about how the world works, it is a little odd, you know.
Yeah.
So
You get a lot of
yeah, and
negative judgment.
I don't think people like negatively judge me in the moment. I think it's more just like this is something that I'm like I've only heard about, you know, and now I know someone who does this, you know. So it's like I think that sudden.
But again, you're not gay.
No, yeah,
You're attracted to females,
yeah.
and you're not having any sexual, not sexual, body augmentation.
No, I don't feel like a woman.
You're not.
No, I don't.
You don't what?
I don't feel like a woman.
You don't feel like a woman.
No, I mean right now I feel like myself, you know, and I feel like I look a particular way, but I don't.
So I thought I would think that the reason for doing this is to feel like a woman, feel like a beautiful woman, which you do.
Maybe
You
look
look like
more.
one.
Maybe look more. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I sort of like dress for like my version, like my own male gaze. You know, I guess I sort of like dress for like what I think is like an attractive female. So it's more visual, I guess. It's than
So
like
you'll
a
do
feeling.
this on a. How often will you do this, and when will you do it?
Yeah, I do it about once every 2 weeks. So
And you're just at home.
yeah, which is kind of like an interesting thing when I have my own place to dress up in, my own studio, and I do it. Yeah, about once every 2 weeks, you know, and I think
is it sexual for you at all?
it is sexual. Yeah, I mean it's a sexually charged thing, which I think kind of makes it feel weird, you know, when it's like, because I think generally sexual things are kind of like a little bit, you don't talk about it, so when it's attached to that, it kind of feels, I guess it doubles down on like the weirdness of it in my own head. But yeah,
You're not hurting anybody.
no, I mean, Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, once every 2 weeks. I like to miss it. I like to like not do it and then be like, oh, I should do that thing again, and not for it to feel like something that like I have to do or like I'm not enjoying. So I think the desire for it, even when I have access to it like 24/7, is about once every 2 weeks. Yeah.
And outside of the cross-dressing, you're a pretty much perfectly normal, hardworking person, married?
Yeah. Yeah, married dude who
You-
like
you have a job
skateboarding
full-time?
and goes to the gym and yeah, works. Yeah.
You just like to cross-dress.
Yeah.
How big
fun.
is your wardrobe of women's clothing?
It's like it balloons because like with girls' clothing, there's so much more like styles and accessories. So I've like filled out a closet, and I've just recently moved into a new place and had to sort of like cull stuff, but I like really didn't want to because it's like so much stuff was just had these sort of like. It's really hard to get rid of the clothing. I've never had that as a guy. I could easily get rid of clothing as a guy. As a girl, there's so much uniqueness in the way things look that like getting rid of something, you're like, oh, I just really don't want to wear that. Like get rid of that thing. I can't ever wear it again. So yeah, I definitely amassed a lot of stuff in a really short amount of time. So I'm like trying to like not do that.
It's nice that you live in a time when it's somewhat acceptable to do this.
Totally, yeah.
I mean, it could be, years, centuries ago where this was forbidden, and you'd be, punished terribly if anyone found out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that the time lapse between me doing it as a teenager and me doing it now is about a decade. And I think the amount of social media, the amount of change that's happened in the internet, the amount of like people doing this sort of thing has like kind of normalized it. So I feel like it's like other people have paved the way for me to feel normal about it.
When I go to New York City, I'll see young men dressed pretty much exactly like you are right now.
That's cool.
And they're probably not. I don't know if they're gay or not, but
yeah, I mean they probably just want to look
a
particularly.
very new phenomenon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can like. I think it's cool to be able to look the way you want to look, right? It's like. And like not worry about all these clothes are meant for this type of person, and you feel restricted.
How does it make you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror?
Oh, I mean, I like it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like. I'm like into the way I look, which is like yeah. So, and I feel like that's kind of part of like the cross-dressing fetish is sort of like making yourself look the way that you want to look for your own eyes, basically.
Do you wish you could go out in public? Go to restaurants, do whatever.
I guess so. I mean, I feel like I could walk around now.
Totally
I mean, I'm a little like I'm dressed kind of like a little over the top, so I'd get looks just for not wearing sweatpants in LA.
If a girl was dressed like the way you are, she'd be getting looks too.
Yeah. But yeah, I going to restaurants. I've gone out to restaurants, not like fully dressed up, but like wearing like with this hair, but like wearing like something kind of casual, and it feels normal. But yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of work being a girl.
It's a lot of work being a girl.
Definitely,
yeah, sure.
It's a lot easier being a guy. You don't really have to put any effort into your appearance. I mean, the baseline is really low for a dude. So, it does like, yeah, it takes me like a good hour to get ready when I'm a girl and 20 seconds when I'm a guy.
Is there any negative, like, is there shame or anything like that you feel because of this?
Not so much anymore. I think when I was hiding it, I think the shame is more tied to the fact that it was not something that I was like openly talking about.
Yeah,
and like
having a secret that you just
I just had this I just like in my mind this dirty little secret, So I think as soon as that went away, but yeah, I mean it's something like not everyone who knows me as a guy knows that I do this as well, So it's like kind of slowly bleeding out, but in somewhat of a controlled manner. But I don't know how much of like me doing this I want to attach to my like whole personality, right? Because I do it like once every 2 weeks and I enjoy it.
After you have done this for, you do a couple hours every couple weeks? Like you do it during the evening or something like that after work?
Yeah, usually on like a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I usually just take the whole Sunday because it's like,
oh really?
I enjoy the process of like feminization, like turning yourself into a girl.
Just sit around and watch football?
No, more like cute little anime videos. But yeah, maybe football in the afternoon. Yeah.
But after you've done it on a Sunday, say, is your work week following that a little more? Like, does it make you feel differently?
Oh,
does it relieve some kind of something?
Yeah, maybe the desire to do it kind of goes away.
But you don't like feel more at peace or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel more at peace. Yeah, I think I feel chill about it. Yeah.
You ever talked with a therapist about why you might be doing this?
No. I think I want to say I brought it up, but I don't think I have. I mean, I feel like I feel like I'm figuring out what it is on my own, and I feel like there's like, yeah, maybe having someone to talk to and bounce ideas off would be good, but
What was your relationship like with your mom?
it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, she's very very loving. She cared a lot about me. Yeah, she was also like pretty career driven, like my dad. So
Is your mom very attractive?
yeah, she puts effort into her hands. Yeah, she is very attractive.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that might create something that.
Yeah, yeah. She actually used to watch. It's kind of funny. I mean, you could probably correlate this, but there was one of her favorite movies was like To Wong Fu, which is like a cross-dressing movie. Like she would watch that, and I for some reason I kind of consider that was more drag though, which I don't really empathize with drag for some.
What is the difference between drag and cross-dressing?
I'd say drag is necessarily not trying to pass as women. They're trying to be their own. It's like a expression of themselves that can be more exaggerated, and so I don't think people necessarily see someone in drag and think they're a woman. They kind of it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. Versus like cross-dressing, I think you're actually trying to be a possible woman in your own head. So I said drag is a lot more, I don't know, exaggerated, I guess.
Are there other cross-dressers that you communicate with, or?
Online,
Online?
Yeah, there's some people I talk to, which is like kind of cool to find a community online, you know. I think it's a great thing about the internet is like you can find everyone.
Do you get the feeling that this is more common than we know, than we suspect?
Yeah. I'm seeing a mistress, like a dominatrix, and she tells me it's very common. So it makes me feel very normal when I hear things like that. That it's something that is like quite common, but yeah, it just doesn't really get talked about or posted on social media, you know, because it's probably like me. It's like something that you want to do like very infrequently. So like you can sort of just like, I don't know, do it in a controlled manner, you know, maybe even go see like a sex worker or something and just like do it in front of them and be done with it for, I don't know, 2 weeks, 6 months, I don't know.
So you see a dominatrix on this,
Yeah.
even though you're married?
Yeah, but I'm in a poly relationship with my wife.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So I've had a girlfriend, and now I'm dating. Me and the dominatrix are dating, and she's very lovely. Yeah. So. Yeah, which is kind of like she's kind of like dating the like girl side of my personality, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
But she obviously really likes my guy side as well. Like yeah, we've been dating for about a year. Yeah, which has been it's been like really comforting to feel like I can be with someone who like just sees this every day, you know. And she's like, oh yeah, you're like the most normal person. I'm like, great.
Your parents are still together?
They are, yeah.
It sounds like that was probably a pretty healthy relationship they had.
Yeah, I think they have pretty healthy relationship, like pretty strong marriage, you know, like kind of, yeah. I mean,
where do you suspect this came from?
I don't know. I mean, it's I'm not sure. I kind of like I like being expressive, and I kind of like expressing myself in both the masculine form and a feminine form to kind of like opposite ends of the spectrum. I just find that variance interesting. And I feel like that applies to like my hobbies and my work and things like that as well. You know, this sort of like exploration of extremes. So
do you like yourself as a man?
Yeah.
You like the way you look? You like?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like, I think I've like through the process of like feminizing myself like more frequently. I've like, I kind of like I dress a little bit more androgynous these days. Yeah, like I have pretty like long hair as a guy, and I like my build is like a lot slimmer now. I used to be like more muscular. I probably lost about 25, 30 pounds of like mixture of like muscle and fat. So I'm like a lot skinnier now. So I can sense that I'm like kind of like finding this like interesting in between of like where I was as a guy and where I like want to sometimes be as a girl. And
I mean, you see a lot of young men that are doing what you just described. You know, they dress in a lot of very...
Totally, yeah. My guy side, like my wardrobe on my guy side has a mixture of like female brands and like male brands. You know, it's a lot of like basics and neutrals, but I think the shape and the quality, like women's sweatpants is like really high quality. So it's like loungewear is like really cool. So I wear that stuff as a dude, and I feel like it's like, I don't know, it's blended. Right? Like I'm kind of like weaving in and out of different wardrobes, I guess. Like things that are supposed to be for men, things that are supposed to be for women.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
35. Because the younger generation of men are kind of experimenting a lot with what you're doing.
Yeah, totally, which is great. You know,
you're just ahead of your time.
Maybe, yeah.
You're young for your age or something.
I was like, yeah, I've always looked pretty young for my age.
So when you go shopping for clothing, you'll go to a women's store?
No, I buy everything online.
Oh, you buy everything online?
Yeah. I think the process of like buying clothes, I mean, I also buy a lot of my guy clothes online. It's just easier, I guess, to have things. And I kind of know my sizing, so I can, and then I just buy from like very particular brands. But with girl stuff, I kind of like, I just get everything shipped to the studio that I shoot in. It's all there. I can like wear these cute outfits and then, yeah, be done with it, give it away. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
No, I don't think so. I think I like am pretty. I think one of my like biggest fears is regret, like not doing things, and I think I sort of have the attitude that like I'd rather try something than not try something and like find out, like good or bad, than regret doing it and even finding out in the first place. So I think I want to like continue doing that, trying to live without regrets. Most of it is driven by a fear of regret. Yeah.
Did you wish the world was able to accept men dressing as women like this? And you can go to work this way, and you can go out. And
I mean, yeah, I like for sure. I think that will naturally happen. I think especially
we're going in that direction.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think just the form and function of man versus women's clothing is like, I think those barriers will start to come down. It'll just be a blend, and people can just individually just decide what they want to wear. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think I would even if like it was super socially acceptable. I don't think I would like dress like this very often. You know, just like I enjoy comfort clothing, simplicity. So yeah.
The fetish community is interesting because the ones I've met, and I've met quite a few now, they seem really self-aware, evolved. They're very like great communicators. They're just very,
yeah, totally.
I don't know how to describe it, but they seem like a very healthy bunch of people.
I think there's a lot of self-acceptance that needs to happen to join a community like that, where you've sort of like, you recognize that this is a part of you. And I think in that process of acceptance, there's kind of like, you're kind of good at picking up like a lot of other things that you might be like, other people might be unaware of, you know, certain personality traits or like ways you behave, or the fact that you might, like, I have sort of like anger issues that I'm like very aware of. So I know how to sort of like deal with that because I'm good at analyzing things that like get passed through like, I don't know, my psychology and things like that, like the way I process information. And I think that like kink and sexual stuff, at least the way I process it, is kind of similar. You know, I can sort of like see that, oh, I have this desire, and this desire has this sort of traits to it. And I think that, yeah. So I'm not surprised that a lot of kink people have like, you know, like a lot of self-awareness.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you, when you're at home dressing like this, do you do it in front of your wife now?
No.
You still keep it
Yeah, I still keep it secret. Well, it's not secret. I still like to do it private. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just always kind of been a solo activity, I guess, and I enjoy it as a solo activity. I'm starting to like do it like with other people, like in.
Because I'm sure there are bars you can go to where they would welcome you.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I guess because it's like it's like sexually driven. It's like the desire to do it outside of a sexual context doesn't really like interest me, I guess. I don't know. It could, yeah. I mean, it could be fun. But yeah, I think going to like there's a lot of events and stuff overseas that I plan on going to where they're kind of like longer time spans, sort of like fetish events and things like that, which sound really fun.
What's your biggest fear?
I think my biggest fear is regret. Like I don't really have many like worldly fears like snakes or spiders or things.
But
like that.
You're not afraid of getting caught or
no, not necessarily.
appearing
Yeah.
on a YouTube channel and somebody might recognize you from work or whatever?
No, I mean I kind of like I feel like people have I feel like I've told everyone that I care about, and beyond that, if you have a problem with it, it doesn't really affect me too much. No. I mean, it doesn't affect the way I can like deliver work for people that pay me, you know. So,
you're not hurting anybody.
no, I don't think so. Yeah, and I mean, if you don't want to look at it, like don't look at me.
People are going to get upset.
Yeah, for sure.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
I suspect the people that are the most upset are the ones who are secretly wishing they could do this.
Yeah, and I mean, it is kind of like, I think if you look at a younger generation and how free and how open they can be with gender expression, and you didn't have that, I can imagine that being upsetting. You know, I can imagine that being like a thing where you're like, oh man, I wish like that existed when I was young, and like, what can you do other than just like get angry at them for like
being so free?
Yeah, exactly. Like passing through that restriction onto them. Like, or trying to, you know, you can't.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's probably exactly what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but I think you like just maybe you should just try it. Maybe it's something that like
I think a lot of guys are secretly trying it. I've heard from some of the sex workers I've interviewed that they have guys who like to put on their clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fun, right? Like, and I think the fact that it's like not allowed is like kind of part of like why it's interesting as well. You know, to like do things you're not supposed to do. So, but yeah, I think like if you're like getting upset at something irrationally, maybe dissect that a little bit. You know, like what's that?
Yeah, there's something behind it.
There's something spurring that emotion. Otherwise, if you really didn't care, you wouldn't have any emotional
Yeah, it doesn't
response.
bother me that you're dressed like a woman.
Yeah.
You know, or if you were gay or whatever, it's like that means more women for me.
Totally, yeah.
It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Oh, most important lesson. I think following your gut, or following your heart more than your head. I think that's kind of like led me to where I am. I think I have tried to not really like think about things like money or as part of like a big part of the decision-making process. So I think the biggest thing I learned is really just like, just going with your gut and just letting that sort of like feeling guide you through life. It's kind of like the path of least resistance, I'm finding. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Amy, thank you so much for sharing your life story and your experiences as a crossdresser.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
I wish you lots of luck. Have fun.
Thanks.